We need more kindness in the world.
This video is no way intended to give professional or highly educational advice on parenting. We are just two parents with 9 kids between the both of us that have some relatable experiences to share and a lot to talk about. This video is intended for those parents who want to just sit down, listen to the banter, and love and laugh with us about anything and everything parental. It's definitely not for the faint of heart because, let's just admit it, Mike can be a real douche sometimes.
What's up, everybody? It is your boy Mike Ayers. And you know what? I can be a douche. But
Yeah.
with this episode, okay. In this episode, Elise wanted to be nice. But
Oh, you're right. Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. Wow.
You're the one that said it. I just had to just
Our disclaimer said it.
Yeah.
I said, yes, I can be. Yeah, I
Josh
did.
said
All right,
it.
all right.
It was
Okay,
Josh.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah.
He's got that Morgan Freeman voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about this subject today because
Heal the world. Make it a better place.
Oh yes.
I'm not going to keep going.
Why? That was good. I liked it too. And that's exactly why we're talking about being kind. Because we need it. We need kindness right now. There's a lot of mean things happening in the world.
And I bet you about 150% people don't realize, you know, your kids are watching, right?
Yes, exactly.
And, you know, if you have kids, see, I can't be bad anymore. I used to be really bad. I used
don't believe
I used to have this, what?
I don't believe it.
Oh, okay. Good. That's great. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I used to have this really short temper, and I used to lose it in front of my kids. You know, not to my wife or nothing, but just like to other people and, you know, just not thinking ahead before I do something. But then I finally realized is that, yeah, when my kids started growing up, I noticed they started becoming like me.
That does happen.
And guess what? It still does.
I know.
And so now
Same thing.
you know, it's a legit thing when, you know, when people say, oh, your kids are watching, your kids follow, you know, your kids are looking at you and they follow you and they, you know, they look to you to,
To be their example.
Right.
And
I was a bad example because the older kids are just too wild for me.
I don't think so. I've met your older kids. They're great.
It's because you're a woman.
I mean, no, that's not why.
No, my older kids are
It's
women.
normally because we see our kids on a daily basis, hourly basis.
Don't
We
remind
know their faults and their annoying behaviors. But overall, I mean, if your kids have been respectful to me when I see them, then that's a good sign. You want your kids to at least be respectful to people
It's a
outside
front.
their home. Well, I mean,
because
don't we all put on a front
the way your
to some
kids
degree?
act towards me, they are very well mannered, they are very nice, but you come to work with a different story. It's a front.
Why are you throwing me under the bus?
I'm not.
You know that they bite. Listen to this.
You threw me under the bus, calling me a douche.
You called yourself a douche, and I just said, yeah, sometimes.
It's worse to agree than to say it. Because you have a chance to stand up for me and say, Mike, you're not a douche.
I'm a douche sometimes,
But listen,
too.
of course my kids are going to be nice to strangers.
I
They're not
mean,
going to.
This is the thing, okay? If you're a decent human being, you're going to raise a decent human being, okay? But we all need to try a little bit harder during these times to go the extra mile, right?
Oh boy. Now we're talking about the extra mile.
Yeah,
I can't even get 5 feet. And you talking about a mile?
What are you
It's
talking about?
because raising kids, it's like a timeline.
It is.
You
I
know?
know. It's true.
And
Yeah, let's
it's-
take it one step at a time. You're right.
Yes.
Let's not talk about a mile.
But you're right. We need to start being kind. You know, things that we want to go our way in the world is not always going to go our way.
Right.
If that was the case, it'd be a perfect world for everybody. And that's not even possible.
And sometimes we think that we know the right thing. I mean, a lot of the
Oh.
times we think that we know best, right? But
Correct.
Why are there so many different people in the world with different perspectives? It's because it's our job to listen and to take in what these people are feeling. You don't have to agree, but sometimes it can actually affect your thought process. You know, your thoughts that you thought were fact, 100% true, could actually change just listening to another person and their different perspective.
Yeah.
And that's important to teach our kids.
I'm actually being challenged right now with that with Riley because, you know, she's at that age. She's 11. She's just learning about politics and. But, you know, when we're at home, she's just like she just thinks she knows, you know, all the laws and she knows who these president candidates are and I know she doesn't know anything. So now I'm just trying to teach her to like listen to my opinion, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm listening to yours. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that at the end of the day, I'm your father, you're my daughter, and you know, we just have to respect what, you know, be glad I'm one of those parents that let you have a
voice.
A voice. Yeah. Because there's a lot of parents out there that said, you better not think that way or you're out of here.
Right.
No matter what age you are.
It's true. You're
right.
But
that's the thing. It's like, you know, I'm trying to teach her to be open-minded, you know.
That's
and
good.
Your thinking is not the way of life for everybody else. It's
right.
You know, it's your opinion and you are free to have that. And my opinion is my opinion. I'm free to have that. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure where me and her disconnected along the timeline.
Well, she's 11, so she's probably like pushing the boundaries extra hard right now.
Oh, she's I had to tell her to go upstairs
because she was getting too heated.
She was getting heated. I was like, "Look, go upstairs, Nancy Pelosi. I don't have time for this." Oh my God. But it is. I'm trying to, you know, teach her that you can have an opinion, this person can have an opinion.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the father-daughter relationship that we have, is it really worth, you know, that's what she has to learn to start, how she has to start viewing it. Is it really worth fighting?
Right.
Because nothing's going to change between us. So what are we fighting for? You have an opinion, I have an opinion. Let's move on. And honestly, that's not the way the world's got to see it. I mean,
and you're starting early. You're doing a good job because I think the people that aren't able to do that now never learned how to do that, right? And they're adults. So the fact that, you know, you're teaching Riley at such a young age is really good. And I'm trying to do the same thing. It's important for kids to understand that their perspective is not the only perspective. There's a lot of different perspectives. There's a lot of different experiences. People have different beliefs because of their experiences. Right. And we need to respect that.
And we also need to, you know, we have to show them how to do it.
Yeah, we do.
You know, we can, a lot of people be like, I'm in my house. I can say what I want. And, you know, I could believe what I want and this and that. Correct. But you got to watch what you say in front of your kids.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it all depends on how old they are. Because, you know, you got to, they're following in your footsteps. They're right. You know.
And if you want to raise a child that like thinks independently and, you know, is a critical thinker, you're not going to want to just tell them what to believe. That's so contradictory to raising a strong human, you know? It's like you need to show them, like you're saying, like show them as an example. And yes, that can be hard as a parent because
it's very hard.
You know, it's like you have rules and you have things you want the kids to do, and it's really easy to just be like, well, this is what I say and this is the right way, you know?
It's always very important to think first.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you know your kids are like right here. I know my kids watch this. Yeah. And, you know, at home, I know my kids are listening. Even though it may not seem like it, but they are. Yes. So you know, every situation is different. But the thing is, if you got to think, you know, are my kids around? Can I say this? I mean, hey, a lot of people would be like, I'm a grown man. I can say what I want. But it's not right. You know, just true. Because you got to teach. I mean, I do the same thing with religion with my kids. All my kids are free to believe in whatever they want to believe.
Same.
As long as they let me believe whatever I want to believe in and don't try to tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
Like a lot of people try to do.
Yep.
So, and that's not how I want my kids to be raised. I want my kids to be open-minded about everybody else's opinion. Back when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
I had that problem with, no, what I say is right.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I think a lot of younger people do.
Yeah. And then I just always had a chip on my shoulder with that attitude.
Yeah.
And I kind of grown out of that. But, yeah, trying to teach your kids. And that's the thing. Most of your teaching doesn't come from sitting them down and saying, look, honey, it's kind of blah, 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 blah. You have to show them. The teaching comes from them watching you and listening to you.
Yes.
And, when the whole world's out there just going crazy and talking crap about this person and that person, and this is how the world should be, and this is how the world should be. And then when you want to put your 2 cents in, you just got to be careful.
Yep.
Because, if you're trying to teach your kids, this certain way, to have that opinion, to have that voice, you got to do the same thing. Even though if you don't believe in that, you have to do the same thing.
Well, and you're kind of keeping them from growing and finding things out for yourself. And I think a lot of the times that parents don't do that, it's out of fear, because it's like, well, they think that the way that they're raising their kids and the way that they live is the correct way, which is understandable. I'm the same way. I'm a parent, so I get it. But at the same time, it's like you do need to give them that space to figure it out themselves. Like, you know.
So I have this thing. I know I shouldn't be thinking about it, but it helps me when it comes to that with the kids. When I die, I want them to be good. I want them to be okay.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to think for themselves, do things for themselves. And I mean, it could just go on and on and on. So that's like the biggest thing I think about. And I say it all the time. When I die, how are you going to change your oil?
Yes.
I just had somebody else do it. Well, okay. Then why are you got me doing it right now?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's, you just got to, I want my kids to be independent, free of their own choice, because I don't want to instill any of my beliefs or things, because it's got me in a lot of trouble throughout the years. So, but growing, but that's the thing. I learned through experience, and now, I just want to show my kids the.
Yeah, and we went through that experience, right? Like, so we had to go through that to be able to be open-minded as we are right now.
I don't want you guys to go down that road I did.
Trevor and I were talking last night, because Trevor, you've met Trevor. We're completely opposite, literally opposite. But we have a very similar, moral standing and like a foundation that's very similar. So our goals are very similar. But we were talking last night and we're like, we've had to go through a lot of drama, like getting married very young obviously doesn't help either, because you're both immature and you think you know everything. And then when you have two opposite people come together, that can be hard. But we've learned a lot over time. We've learned a lot about listening to each other's perspectives, because they do make an impact. Like, I've learned things that I was very strong against in our marriage, like at the beginning, and I allowed him to take, not allowed, but, we agreed for him to take the lead on some areas and I took the lead on other areas. And it's like, wow, like if I had done it my way, this wouldn't have happened. Like, and it's a good thing. It's, good things came from that. And so it's like, I feel like if the world could just listen, maybe this is a challenge for our listeners, reach out to somebody that maybe you don't agree with at all and just talk to them and listen to them. And, it can be intimidating because you don't want to get in a huge fight, right? And it can be a little scary, but like, just be open to listening to their views and their perspectives. And I think that's really what we need right now in the world because everybody is just so like this constantly. And their kids, I'm seeing it on like our Zoom, my kids' Zoom calls. These kids on the line are talking about politics, guys. I mean,
Y'all don't even get involved with it right now. Like, you don't want to.
yeah, I mean, these kids, they should know to a certain extent of what's happening, right? There's a lot going on. But when you're hearing these kids that are like 10, 11 years old, just basically repeating what their parents are saying, and they have no idea what that means, like, I think that's when we need to like step back a little bit.
Yeah.
And teach them the other side of it. You know, don't just talk at them and tell them what to believe. Like, let them come up with their own.
I tried that in the beginning, and you know, it was wrong, because it's not my place. Because when they turn 18, they fly away, bird. Fly away. Fly away. But you want them to be independent, and you want them to be able to handle themselves.
Right.
Because you never know. I might not be here next week, and what are they going to do?
It's true.
Just saying.
Never know. So last night we went to Taco Bell for dinner. And the reason why I wanted to talk about being kind, too, is because we were in line, and we got up. Our meal was like $35 because I didn't make dinner, guys. I didn't make dinner.
Mother of the year.
Exactly.
Golf clap.
Now, I did make dinner the other night and the night before that, but sometimes Taco Bell's a solution.
I heard
And
Trevor's a cook.
he does cook, too. We switch
Like all the
off.
time.
No. That's not true. No. But so we were in line and we were going up to get our food, and we pull up and they're like, oh, the people in front just paid for your meal.
Hey, I love it when that happens.
I know. And like Trevor and I were like, what? Like $35? And they're like, yeah, they paid for it all. So then we paid for the people behind us. And I don't know how long that went on for, but it was so powerful. I don't know what it is about that. I don't know. It's like, you know, the whatever, Pay It Forward, like that movie or whatever. It's like one act of kindness can just domino to multiple people. And, you know, maybe the person in back of us didn't pay for the person in back of them, but that could have really helped them out, you know, by us. We could afford it, so we did that.
Were your kids with you?
No, they weren't, actually.
Did you tell them about it?
We did, yeah. We told them about
That's it?
Yeah. And it really affected all of us. So, you know, that's another challenge out there. If you guys are in like a drive-through and, you know, Starbucks or whatever, pay for the people behind you and see, you know, you never know what kind of impact that can have.
Just remember, it could be me behind you. You know?
Yeah, it could be.
Because I'm hungry. I'm always hungry.
I'm hungry too,
That's why I'm so big.
You're not. But anyways, so guys, just, you know, remember to be kind. Remember to teach your kids to be kind, because they are our future, you know, and I think a little more kindness in the world could make a big difference.
And just remember, they are watching.
Yes.
Hence Kendall behind us. She's watching.
Look, I got it. So funny. Well, thanks, guys. And remember to subscribe and ring the bell and visit us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook. And we will see you next time.